All right, what up, y'all? Just got done watching the All-Star game, and there's a new format. Obviously, it was what they did was they had split it up into four teams, and then on Friday they had the Rising Stars game, and then whoever won for that little like one game elimination tournament thing, whoever won all that ended up moving on, and then that was the team with the young guys with Jalen Wells, Zach Edey, Ryan Dunn, Dalton Connect, and all of them. So they were the fourth team, and then there was the OGs with Shaq, and then the foreign player, like the global players, Chuck, and then the young players with Kenny. And I think it was decent, the new format, but there were obviously still some issues. At the end of it, the OGs ended up winning, and Steph Curry got MVP. So that was pretty cool. Especially that since it was in San Francisco, that was pretty cool that he won MVP. But yeah, there were still some issues. They actually had Draymond. He was outside commentate or talking with some other guys out there, and he was saying that he really didn't like it. And I tend to agree with what he was saying. Just because like in the past with it being like just an actual full length game, it's really hard. Like with he was saying, like with being an all-star, just like you're on that stage and then you making it to become an all-star and your hard work being paid off, and then being able to have the chance to break history by like having new scoring records in the all-star game. And you can't really do that anymore because it's only up to 40 points, you know what I mean? So with it being up to 40 points, that's you can't really with like they scored like I remember like Jason Tatum scored like 50 in the All-Star, or I believe in the All-Star game before. So you can't really break the records anymore. So that's what Draymond's gripe was with it, that it's just, and I really do think that it was kind of I wouldn't say like it wasn't boring, but it was just it's kind of hard. It's really hard to. It's a tough situation because you want to make it competitive too. And I feel like this, to an extent, did help a little bit with the competitiveness. And then, sorry, I'm just kind of talking all over the place. But another thing that I wanted to say was that I really thought was kind of weird about it was that they brought with bringing in the fourth team as the Rising Stars, because none of them are all stars, obviously. And think about like they ended up losing in the first game or semis or whatever to the OGs. But yeah, if they were to lose to or if the OGs were to lose to the Rising Stars team, and then say they ended up winning the whole thing, how weird would that be if like the Rising Stars team of a bunch of players who are not all stars, and then they would have to like give the all star MVP to someone who's not an all star. Like that's one thing that I was thinking about with this all star game, that it was like if that would have happened, and even just the possibility of that happening, it's just like what like I don't know why they, or what was their thought process with doing that, because it really just doesn't make any sense to have those young star like the rising stars out there who aren't even all stars, and many of them are on track and or could very well end up being all stars later on in their careers. But just it's yeah, I don't know. That would be definitely very weird if the non all star players ended up winning it. So that's another thing that I didn't like about it. One thing is what I would say is that, or Victor Wembanyama, he was definitely, I would say, out of anybody, him, Kyrie, and then yeah, him and Kyrie, I would say that they seem to be playing pretty solid, or actually trying on defense. So I like that they were putting in some effort with defense. But especially in the last game right there, where it was the global players and then the Shaq's OGs, it was really definitely once it got out of hand a bit, they were like down 15. There was like zero defense being played. It was just like, yeah, it was just the same as like how the All Star games have been previously. So I'm not. It's kind of tough to figure out what they could do to fix it. But a lot of the commentators and everybody was saying that they're probably going to end up like reverting it back, because I don't know. It was decent, the All Star game, but it definitely had a lot of issues with it too, with some of the things I said. What was cool was they shouted out the TNT crew because they've been doing this for many years, and then this is actually their last year going to be doing it. So it was definitely cool that they shouted them out and gave them their flowers. And yeah, it was just really good that they did that for everything that they put in, entertaining everyone with the game of basketball. And just something I'm thinking about, like what they could do differently. It's kind of tough. I'm trying to think of what they could do differently to better the All-Star game. One thing that I do have, and one idea that I'm sure many other people agree with, and it's been floating around, is not necessarily just with the All-Star game itself right there, but with the All-Star weekend. I really think that if they were to add a 1v1 tournament, that would be huge for the All-Star game. Because imagine seeing like players like Kevin Durant versus like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or just 1v1s like Kevin Durant versus Kyrie, or Anthony Edwards versus Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like just these cool things that you would really never see anywhere else, and we never really do see. So that would be really cool if they did that. I think that would definitely bring up the viewership and entertainment of the All-Star game. So I think that would be a cool thing that they could add. And then for the game itself, I think that reverting back to it could help, because just I don't know if this was it, or honestly, if they want to keep this format. I know that I think I was hearing that there's maybe like a cash prize or something, which maybe helps a bit. But if they want to keep this format, I just think maybe upping the points from 40 points, because I feel like 40 points is pretty low, especially for the all-star players. Like, the all-star players, that their thing that most of them are known for is scoring. So, yeah, they definitely, I would say, although the issue is then it would be longer. So they really do got to figure out what they can do to better the All-Star game. But they definitely have, aside from the game, lots of things that they should be doing. Like I saw the dunk contest, it's like saved again by Mac McClung, but still like Andre Jackson and Matas Buzelis, it was definitely rough with that. So if they can get like John Morant, Zion, maybe like I saw, yeah, what I was saying before is John Morant, he actually called out. He was like, Zach, AG, where you at? Like, and then Giannis was also saying that if John Morant does it, he would do it. So if we actually get like some of the All-Stars in the dunk contest, I feel like that would be really cool, because I feel like it's been a while since we've had an actual All-Star, like, or who's currently an All-Star in the dunk contest. You know what I mean? So I feel like that could definitely help. But yeah, just like maybe if they either reverting it back and finding some way to implement a way to have better defense played. Maybe it's kind of tough. Like you can't really incorporate it into the season at all. So it's just kind of a tough thing. It might just not be able to. You might not be able to get it to have great defense. But overall, it was a pretty solid All-Star game. The dunk contest, I liked that. One thing I thought was funny is in the skills challenge where CP3 and Victor Wembanyama, they just tried to finesse it by just like with the shots. They were just like throwing it off the rack to try and get the quickest time, and they got disqualified. I wonder if that was Victor Wembanyama's. It was probably CP3's idea, honestly. But yeah, so it was a pretty solid All-Star game. I don't know. It didn't like blow me away or anything. I wouldn't say it. I don't know. If I had to say, I honestly probably like even though the lack of defense is clearly shown in the All-Star game previous method that they had it at, with just the normal one game. I think I would rather have it go back to that, just because the scoring, you know what I mean? You can see like the players drop like 50, 60 points, crazy amount of points like that. So I feel like I would rather see that than the first to 40, you know what I mean? And then also I feel like they definitely have to get rid of the rising stars in there, because that I feel like could go south. So yeah, but let me know what y'all thought about the All-Star game in the comments down below. Did you like it? What did you think about it? Well, also, what did you guys think about the dunk contest and three-point contest and yeah, all the other All-Star activities? But yeah, I'll keep y'all up to date with more videos. Season's about to be back going again. Now the All-Star's over, and yeah.